Western Germany had a very decentralized economic system. In 1982, the government owned $25 billion worth of assets, along with railroads, oil companies, and more. West Germany developed a mixed economy in which the government took an effective part in the progress of their resources and an essentially free enterprise system remained in place. They also worked hard on accomplishing a positive balance of trade by exporting many of its products, but it was dependent on the demands of the common market for its exports so that they could afford the basic imports. Most of the production property was privately owned and market forces regulated both prices and wages. West Germany had a considerable degree of government interference that made it more of a socialist market economy. It was generally named the welfare state. Its growth exceeded East Germany's. It also was benefited because skilled labor were moving into the country after World War II.
The economic situation in Western Germany was a lot times better than the one on the East because of various reasons. Among them, we have that the unemployment was really high on the eastern part of Germany because it had a percentage of 9, and while on the other hand, the percentage of unemployment on Western Germany was lower. It only had 5.6%. Another thing is that 89,000 people from the east migrated to the west because on the eastern part of Germany they were creating a really bad working climate, so the people didn't want to live there and work there anymore, and they wanted to have a change. And because the western part was better in economy, they wanted to migrate because they would have better opportunities. Another reason that, well, the cause of that migration um, brought that the eastern part shrunk in the population. It went from having 16 million people to have 12.5 million people, while in Western Germany it incremented from having 60 million people to have 64 million people. So it considerably incremented with 4 million people more. So it also had the western part better living conditions, and it is one of the best reasons to say that that's why the eastern side of Germany would never catch up with the western side.
The Federal Republic of Germany adopted the Basic Law on May 8, 1949. It established a new political system. However, it found its basis on the German Constitution of 1871 and the Weimar Constitution of 1919. Now let's talk about some of the parts and organs of the government. First, we have the president, he is the head of state. It is elected by the Federal Convention made up by the Bundestag and representatives from the Länder that are states. He can stay in power for a maximum of 2 5-year terms. Now, we have the Federal Chancellor. He is the head of the government. The candidates to this position are proposed by the President and elected by the Bundestag. To appoint a Chancellor, the majority of votes from the Bundestag have to be achieved. This is the only case in which it is required. It is to ensure a stable government. A federal chancellor can only be dismissed through a constructive vote of no confidence, meaning that they have to elect a new chancellor in order to do it. And he serves 4-year terms. The Bundestag is a lower legislative chamber. It is elected directly by the people through a system of mixed, direct, and proportional representation. Members of the Bundestag serve 4-year terms. Then we have the Bundesrat. The Bundesrat is the upper legislative house. It has no important political power, but it is rather to advise, ratify, and approve. It has a veto power on legislation, and it is composed by members of the Länder governments. Länder governments mean the states. The state cabinets choose the representatives that are going to stand from each land or state to the Bundesrat. The number of representatives by land or state, as I already said before, is determined by its size.
The political system of the Federal Republic of Germany, established in the Basic Law of 1949, has proven to be more efficient and just than others for several reasons. Unlike the previous one, it didn't give the president the power to appoint or dismiss the chancellor. Most political powers is placed in the Bundestag, the parliamentary house elected directly by the people. Chancellor's majority, it proclaims that in order to ensure a good decision and thus a civil government, the candidate at issue must achieve a majority of votes in the Bundestag. Constructive vote of no confidence. It establishes that for the Bundestag to dismiss a chancellor that must appoint a new one. The elections for the Bundestag are carried out in the premise of free, secret votes by every part of the society. Mass parties that will represent a variety of popular similar interests were encouraged to prevent weak political parties. In the Bundestag to achieve and develop adequate representation in order to avoid a party winning a majority of seats, coalitions are formed. The number of representatives in the Bundestag for each state or land goes according to its size.
Human rights were favorable in West Germany for several reasons. They were defined against communism, which means they didn't want the elimination of private property. During the 1970s, there were certain occasions came up to assemble human rights with foreigners who were far away or in West Germany. It is also well said that West Germany was the first state to recall sayings from the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in its current constitution, which was the Basic Law Grundgesetz. They also embraced the European Convention of Human Rights, considered one of the most outstanding human rights administrations in the world. In the Basic Law, adopted by the people of West Germany, are clearly defended the human rights established the previous year. Some examples found in the third section of it is called Basic Rights are Article 1. Legally binds the German people to acknowledge inalienability of the human rights. This protects Article 8 of the UDHR. Article 2. Right to personal freedom and integrity. This protects Articles 1 and 18 of the UDHR. Article 3. Everybody is equal before the law. This protects Article 7 of the UDHR. Article 5. Everybody has the right to express freely and conduct research. This protects Article 19 of the UDHR. Article 6. Everybody has the right to marry and form a family. This protects Article 16 of the UDHR. Article 7. All schools are under the state's control. This protects Article 26 of UDHR. Article 8 and 9. Everybody has the right to reunion. This protects Article 20 of the UDHR. Article 11. Everybody has the right to transit through federal territory. This protects Article 13 and 14 of the UDHR.